Bwahahahahaha. My name is Amy2 and welcome back to Talk to the Transformer. As you can see, I just wrote something here. And let's see what this comes up with. What is this? Amy2 went out to get the mail one day when a young woman came by my house. "Excuse me," she said, "the mailman is taking our mail to the graveyard." And so I said to her, "Well, could you not be near me when I am preparing for burial?" She said, "Sure." So when I was preparing for burial, the very next day I read something in the book, "Death is the Restitution for the Lost," that the author relates in an article in the New York Times magazine. It was written in the year 18... ... So how did... So is this like dead mail? No, for something else. Moon found something in the woods. Let's just leave it at that. Let's see. Moon found something in the woods and tried to warn, but her cry had already gone cold. Soon a cloaked figure arrived, cautious of his terrible powers, but this time the path was clear. A game of hide-and-seek ensued where the creature quickly made his way up a rocky cliff. The creature never made it to the top of the cliff and quickly left the area, heading deeper into the woods. A moment later, the shadow vanished, marking the end of that dark night. In the dream, a figure let out a squeak. What? Slitter was working on Moon's car. Slitter was working on Moon's car when he sold a hatchback he had to sell to live. "I was living on a beach in California," he says. "My roof was falling in. My car was blowing in the wind. That's when I knew I had to get to work. I wanted to own my own car. Yeah. I knew it wouldn't be as good as my own vintage race car, but that didn't matter because I wanted to buy a car like a Bugatti Veyron. But a few Japanese investment properties would follow." They what? How'd you get a vintage race car anyway if you're that poor? Big Boy and Buddy invented a new engine for their spaceship. Big Boy and Buddy invented a new engine for their spaceship called the Universal Groove Vibration Drive. What? Universal Groove Vibration Drive? That sounds like some kind of weird, like that sounds like some kind of frickin' disco dance. A small guy who basically wanders around the ship with a 2-foot thick barrier of spiky, real hard sand. He is always praying. A robot that gets a Super Smash Bros. Wii remote control and uses it to kill himself on multiple occasions. However, the developers still cannot believe he survived. Oh, this is gold. And reanimates whenever the player uses their remote to kill them. Never realizing the limits of the Super Smash Bros. Wii remote. Oh man, that was good. almost as good as the one where Amy 2 trips over and it's like right arm came out, couldn't catch it. Oh man. Universal groove vibration drive. Okay, Amy 2. Amy 2 was talking to Moon on the phone. What is this? Amy 2 was talking to Moon on the phone. A nuclear missile was launched to destroy the oil refinery and the rest of the city, but it didn't work. On the inside, Kristoff had his entire life to think about. Kristoff, how did you make sure this didn't happen to you? Kristoff asked. Don't you know how you made sure that we survived that blast? Moon asked. Do I know? Kristoff asked. You just did it. That's so true. What? Not as funny as the previous one, but it's still good. Moon dived into the lake. Let's just leave it at that. Moon dived into the lake, climbed over a rock, and came back with it in one piece. Luo Feng followed the shark down. He did not hit anything, only taking the food. The shark's eyes twitched a bit. Oh man. He was surprised at being unable to catch the food. A little kid's first time? How is that a successful hunt? It's very simple. Look at the light. It's real. Otherwise, it wouldn't be there in the first place. It's a dream, Luo Feng said. I like how it just says the most obscure things like, he did not hit anything. Or, he climbed over the rock and came back with it in one piece. Okay. Slater shot a bear with his rifle. Slater shot a bear with his rifle at the Slater Ranch gate. After not being able to board a truck, the man had to sell the car. The incident is the second to occur during a bear hunting season at the ranch last week. A Douglas County man died during a hunting trip at the ranch with his son, who was hunting an elk with a rifle on a farm with a permit. Benton County Sheriff Michael Givens said law enforcement agents will be on site at the Slater Ranch through the night to investigate the first ... Yeah, that wasn't as good, so I won't save it. Big Boy and Buddy flew their spaceship into space. What is this? Big Boy and Buddy flew their spaceship into space and destroyed it. The scientist started gloating at his sonic screwdriver. What? Gladly, the alien beater screamed at the professor, "Stay out! Kill me!" Furious, the professor pulled his gun and shot at the beater. The beater charged at the professor and hit him in the leg. The professor fell off the double platform into the earth. The fellow scientist on his psychic plane traveled to the mess hall and approached Professor Kinka, who was on the double platform, yelling at him, "You do ... So they destroyed space by flying their spaceship into it. Amy 2 was driving with Moon on a hot summer day. Amy too was driving with Moon on a hot summer day. They were returning home from a picnic. Moon drove slower than normal, so he pulled over and turned on the heat. It's summer. A steady stream of white smoke and a burning smell drifted over to where they were sitting. Not knowing what the source was, they didn't seem to be breathing. A human heart pumping like a machine, how can the airflow out of the morning be so sluggish? Okay, this is completely ridiculous. Things felt like they were starting to stutter. The eyes looked like they were about to close, only to open. What is this? It started out so good, but then suddenly, as soon as it reached, like, this part here is where it got ridiculous. Okay, Moon was watching a movie on TV with Slater. Moon was watching a movie on TV with Slater. Slater was also watching a movie on TV. Both were clearly addicted to internet porn. It wasn't clear why, then, nor whether she thought of such thoughts when there was only 1 hour left on the TV. You mean it's gonna die in 1 hour or something? Or it may have been that it was only in that hour that they would now meet again. When Elisa woke up the next morning, she felt like she hadn't slept in several days. She also felt totally differently. The soothing sensation of sliding against her was gone. It felt like she was ... Okay, this part seems very much like this. Okay, that was weird. Okay. Slater was on a camping trip with Moon when suddenly... Slater was on a camping trip with Moon when suddenly all of the lights went out and the river turned blue. He looked down into the abyss to see daylight, which he said wasn't there before. Since then, Skeeter has formed a group called Good Vibrations, which is dedicated to the conservation of the Colorado River. Good vibrations. Is that like bad vibrations? Turn the good vibrations of Shangri-La into bad vibrations. Fishmail a map of the North Mesa and Sandy Flow. I could see the sky was slowly getting brighter, and the trail of light up to ... Big Boy and Buddy were stranded in outer space. Big Boy and Buddy were stranded in outer space until the last moment. And then you'd think they'd be down to 0 level by now. Most detectives do not realize the terrible accidents just happen in a hurry. For example, if I made my initial intention of learning Spanish to be wrong, it would appear that I hadn't learned Spanish well enough for the upcoming disaster. Superpowered lies often involve pure ham to further their goals, with the implication being that they're trying to fool somebody or something into being better than they are to help... What? What is this trash? Okay. Amy 2 was sleeping in her car when suddenly... Amy 2... are you kidding me? Amy 2 was sleeping in her 94-year-old car in a small road garage next to the second floor of a house. When the car was pulled off the road, the 12,000 kilogram sledgehammer was wedged between the rear ends of the two trailer parked cars. Then someone set about dismantling and removing the interior. Oh man. As well as a jack and tire hammer, the hammer and sledgehammer were removed. While the hammer was being removed, the sledgehammer fell off a tripod, and the front end of the sledgehammer was exposed. What is this supposed to mean? Moon was driving down a dirt road during a blizzard. Moon was driving down a dirt road during a blizzard in his 1981 Impala. Suddenly a car hit him and turned into a river. What? The action caused the driver to swerve and crash into the lake below. Seren was the only person who ever survived the lake of rainfall. In his memoir, Seren described the aftermath of the crash. The reason I saw the driver swerve so suddenly was because he didn't hear me at all. I was on my knees in the dirt at the lake. The hit car was driving right through the back of me. Up on... What? I like the part where suddenly a car hit him and turned into a river. But anyway, I'm going to have to end this video here. If you liked it, subscribe. You can watch some of my older videos too. Also, I have a practice cartoon that I still haven't uploaded. I promised I would like a few days ago. Didn't get around to it. Hopefully, by this time, I have already uploaded it yesterday. And, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.